Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Ask Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada. I'm the engineer, and with me is Mr. Lady Ada.
That's right.
We've got an exciting show tonight, all sorts of cool stuff, great codes, blinky things. Tell them what's on tonight's show.
We are not retiring off the show. Did you see Daily Show? Jon Stewart announced he's retiring.
Oh yeah, we're not.
We are not doing that yet.
Well, we also have been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah, 17 years, I think.
17 years.
Yeah, so we're not retiring yet. All right. On tonight's show, the code is Deep Blue, 10% off in the Adafruit store. We will tell you why the code is Deep Blue in a little bit. We've got the show and tell, a look back at amazing retro tech workspaces, and of course projects people are making, showing, and sharing. We've got some big news in the world of Adafruit. We've got Pack of the Mailbag. We've got our jobs board. We've got some news in the world of open source hardware and Arduino. We've got some time traveling. We got wearable electronics. We have a whole bunch of 3D printing stuff tonight. We got Pi stuff. We got new products. We're going to answer your questions. We have trivia questions. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
We're here every week.
We are here every week. Okay, so here we are. So let's first pay some bills.
Okay. Do the code.
Code Deep Blue expires tonight, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everything's on sale except for gift certificates and, of course, software. We're not allowed to do that.
Everything else, though, including all the new stuff we'll be showing off today.
That's right.
Including Pi 2s, if we happen to have any, which I don't.
We don't.
We don't, but if we did.
Yeah, we put a couple batches of, we got some batches of Pi 2s in. They sold out very fast. If you signed up and you didn't get an email, that means you are still on the list. If you did get one and they were gone, just please sign up again. We take Bitcoin. Still do. And the free deals that are going on right now, $200 or more, free UPS ground in the continental US.
Some good freebies.
It's pretty good. It's a good deal. Trackable, reliable shipping. It's a good deal. Don't forget, if something you want is not in the DigiKey catalog, tell them. Say, I want a non-catalog request. And they are now one of our distributors, becoming a very big distributor. Please, if you want to get things all in one spot, if you need a resistor, and we don't carry just a resistor, go to DigiKey, request stuff from Adafruit through them.
Use phone or text or whatever, and they'll carry. Just give them the URL or the product ID.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
Next up, tonight's show is brought to you by the letter C. We have a new coloring book, R is for Robots, and the letter this week is C, and C is for cyborg.
This is the word of the day.
C is for cyborg.
So when you hear the word cyborg, go ah!
Scream real loud. Yeah. So C is for cyborg. This is actually kind of our illustration of Steve Mann. He was kind of known as the father of wearable computing, and
yes, okay, maybe.
yeah.
Arguable, but one of the. Maybe there's multiple fathers. I mean, it's okay. It's possible. You can have 4 or 5 fathers or something.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have one. Anyways, so that's where that comes from.
Okay.
C is for cyborg.
Where did the word cyborg come from?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up yet. Okay.
Dictionary. I'm sure Wikipedia will tell us.
All right. So first up, Lady Ada, we've got the show and tell. This is a nice show and tell.
Okay. Yeah, we had
cool projects and more.
Many Adafruit team members show up on show and tell.
What did people show and share to the world this week on the weekly 7:30 p.m. show and tell?
Start off with Noah and Pedro from Adafruit Southeast. They are a Florida team, and they've got some cool 3D printed stuff going on. They've made a Gunblade cosplay prop that they're going to be showing off. It has multiple materials. It has semi-flex and Ninja Flex and PLA. And they show a lot of advanced techniques for building large projects and joining them together, as well as how to 3D print tall, thin stuff, which they have. They came up with a lot of interesting techniques in this. This definitely will be fun to watch out. And they also made a little Bluetooth game controller you can use with your Android phone. Tony showed off his Pi Begon, which is a standalone Canon flash that he used to test out how a Xenon flash affects a Raspberry Pi Model B, Pi 2 Model B, or Pi 1 B+. And he says that his Pi 1 B+ is not susceptible to this flash of light, but the Pi 2B is. Although I've seen the Pi 1B Plus also.
Yeah, we actually have really powerful flashes here.
Yeah.
And
you can, but our flashes are huge, so maybe that's why it happened to us. But we would take photos and like the Pi would crash in the middle of the demo. And so I guess we know now what was happening. But he was just kind of demoing it and trying it out, and also trying different setups to test the efficacy of this Pi Begon. We also had Phil B. from Adafruit West. He doesn't show up very often, but when he does, we cherish it. And he was showing up his laser galvo demo that he built. He's been working on a laser galvo project for me in his off hours to get an Arduino to drive a laser display with these rotating mirrors. And so far looking so good. He's got the ILDA display up, the demo,
it's a cool project.
And it's looking really good. He's going to try to have it display animations off of an SD card or something, so hopefully that will be a future project or product in the Adafruit store. Aiden came by with more soft robotics. He's doing soft robotics with silicone molds and trying to make his own walking glaucospot, which is a project that we had by Borgatti on the learning system. And he's trying out some different techniques. He said this technique didn't actually work. So we just documented what didn't work. You couldn't actually melt the material inside, and the mold didn't complete, and it leaked. But he said, like, well, I'm learning what doesn't work. And that's also very important when doing science. Echo YU showed up, his modular robotics. He thinks now he's going to make a centipede-type bot by chaining them together with these magnets. So we'll see this modular robotics. It's a research project that he's got for his graduate work. So I guess he's going to show up and show off these modular ones. They're very cute. And little press fit magnets. Avishai came by with a really cool project where he's improving the serial to USB capabilities of like most electronics. Usually you struggle with what's the baud rate or what's the COM port. He has something that actually will like do auto baud detection and also will display the COM port on a little LCD.
Autobot, like
yes,
like Decepticons.
Yes,
they're like, hey, get out of here, Optimus Prime. You're an Autobot.
Like that, except for baud rates.
Okay,
that was close.
That's good.
And I thought that was kind of neat. It would be really cool if that was sort of like built into more electronics.
Yeah.
Eric came by and he's shown off some epic projects, but this time he had an Aero Garden upgrade that he had for his desk. He used a wine cooler chiller, and he has a Peltier inside, and he's actually controlling the Peltier and a little mister, a fog mister, using an Arduino and a real-time clock, and so he's using it to grow little plants. So because it's enclosed, it's closed off, it's very easy to control the humidity and temperature and light for his basil plant. So he's planting some basil, and it looks really good.
And one thing I want to mention, because I offered this up for Eric, so because he had all these sensors, and he's obviously a really prolific maker. He did a Learjet simulator and everything. So in addition to a show and tell sticker, I'm handing out betas to adafruit.io, and this is a very limited beta, and if you go to adafruit.com/io, you'll be able to see what we're doing. But basically, because he's doing all the sensor stuff, and I know he'll be able to use the system well, I offered up a beta, because wouldn't it be neat to then log all of the data from your homemade aerial planner? And pretty much anyone who would really, really like to use a modern data logging system, come on the show and tell, show us your projects, and that's a good way for us to start to hand out some of the beta invites. We get a lot of emails, but it's always unclear if people are actually working on projects. This is a good way to do it.
Yep. And then we finished off with C. Scott, who didn't have any music this time. Instead, he's showing off a PCB he's routing, power supply that doesn't suck that he's designing, and some through-hole voice cards and some modems that he etched using Radio Shack components. And then Tony actually had some Forrest Mims books and a T-shirt he picked up from Radio Shack. So I don't know if you have a Radio Shack that's closing near you. You can pick up some stuff and be shown off on the next show and tell.
Yeah. It's a little sad. There's the photos of, because they're selling everything. Like, everything must go.
Yeah, those stores that are closing got to liquidate.
Yeah, and so end of it, error in some ways, but then look at all the opportunities that came up. I think last weekend there was an article in Slate, and I had written up, they said the age of tinkering is over, and my response was, well, look at DigiKey, who's B2B, but look what they're doing. Look at Maker Fairs. Worldwide, 500,000 people visit Maker Fairs. Look at companies. I cited SparkFun, for instance, $32 million company, 2014. So like, there's a lot of things going on. It's just people stopped going to Radio Shack for this stuff, and Radio Shack stopped
What is the revenue of Radio Shack?
You can look it up at the last annual report, but I mean, not enough.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, is the revenue that the maker market took away? Did they take it away?
My opinion, the revenue. So they did put things like.
Because there's probably like $250 million of revenue that the maker company, all the maker market companies.
You just don't go. You wouldn't go to Radio Shack for that stuff.
Right. I'm saying, like, instead they have it through like the Maker Shed or SparkFun or Adafruit or Jameco or.
Yeah, but even if that all went to Radio Shack, it's not enough.
You think it's still not enough, even if they did have it?
No, it wouldn't be enough at all.
So you do think it's a little bit of the maker movement is smaller than the tinkering movement?
Well, they never had the maker movement in their stores. Just only recently they put Arduinos. It wouldn't have mattered if they were number one. What's funny is I look at a company like DigiKey that got their start because it was called the DigiKey, and it was for like ham radio stuff. And instead of them going down the path of, well, let's have stores everywhere, physical stores, let's be the biggest online, catalog supplier than online supplier. Mm-hmm. There's no reason that Radio Shack couldn't pivoted that way. There could have been a DigiKey in every city, but they decided to centralize and be the biggest supplier. So just choices.
Yeah.
Neat. Lots of business studies will be made about this. But, Lady, the most important thing is, how do people get on the show and tell?
If you'd like to show off your Radio Shack goods, next week on the Show and Tell, I'm sure we'll be having that for quite a few weeks where people show off a lot of forced MIMS books probably and 555 timers. You can show off your project every week on the Show and Tell. We have it every single Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just go to the Show and Tell circle on our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit. Find the thread where we say comment here to get added to the circle. We'll right-click on your avatar after you comment and add you, and then you will get an invite every single week. Show off your project, retro technologies, cosplay, 3D printing, crafting.
A little bit of everything.
Maker spaces, worker hack spaces, tools, whatever you think is cool, I'll probably think is cool.
Okay. And as always, quick programming note, don't forget we do the show here every 8 p.m. Wednesday nights, and the Show and Tell is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We had a couple of announcements this week. We hit 700,000 orders.
Those are big numbers.
Thank you very much, everyone. We have a prediction going on internally of when we will hit 1 million orders. So we just hit 600,000 in October. We're up to 700,000.
Well, it depends. If we keep having Raspberry Pi 2s, we could actually hit that sooner than later because, like...
That's why it's a good guess.
We had, like, 1,500 orders yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was a big day.
It was intense.
It was a big
Insane and intense.
Yeah.
Instance.
And then the next thing is we hit 14 million views on our YouTube channel. And that's a big deal. The entire video team here. We made a bunch of decisions a long time ago. Let's make great content. And it turns out there's a lot of people who want to watch it. So big ups to everyone here, Becky and the entire team, Noah and Pedro and Colin and Andrew and you, everyone who makes videos and helps people learn stuff through the medium that people really like, which is YouTube.
YouTube is forever.
It might be. Next up, Adafruit Jobs Board.
Oh, wait, and then we have the subscription thing, right? We're trying to get to 1 million subscriptions?
Yes, of course.
Sorry, 100,000.
The next one, yeah. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, it actually helps us out. So
please do. We're at like 95,000.
Yeah.
So we're so close.
Anyways, the Adafruit Jobs Board, this is our jobs board that we made ourselves. We wanted to have a place online where makers could post their skills and companies can post that they're looking for cool makers. This week, we're starting to get some heavy hitters in here. This is an industrial design intern for IDEO in Palo Alto. So if you're going to school and you're in that area and you want to work for IDEO, which is known as like the design company.
Do they pay? Wait, is this paid or?
I don't know.
I hope so.
I don't know if it's. I'm going to try to follow up. We think interns should be paid, and so does the government apparently. Yeah. And so, anyways,
IDEO has money; they can afford it. Anyways, if you apply, demand payment.
Yeah. Anyways, this is an interesting thing because IDEO is like, it's a big deal, and they're using our jobs board to find the makers out there.
A good thing to have on your resume.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we've got our app. It's out. The Bluefruit app, latest version is out. Lydia, did you have anything specific about this app that you want to talk about?
Yes, it's amazing. Colin did an amazing job, and it's awesome and amazing and amazing.
Okay.
There's actually a lot of stuff. It's almost a complete rewrite. First up, you can select multiple different devices based on their name. So you can, used to be you can only connect to the first UART device that appeared, but now you can connect to by name, and you can see the UUID and the service UUIDs, and you can see the device manufacturer information, model number, any other details like service information.
Yeah.
So that's really powerful. So you can see that here, and then can you go to the next page?
Yeah, I do have a little slide here. We have a few here.
Okay. Okay, yeah, this is it. So you can get more device information about characteristics for the device, so much more detail you can drill down, which will really help in debugging and analyzing your Bluetooth Low Energy. And next up. We still have this. We have the pin I/O. We still haven't ported to Leonardo. We're working on it. So that's still there. You can do, we have it works with Fermata. We have an example that works with Fermata, so you can have a pin as an output, input, PWM. Set it, you can do analog inputs as well. And then we also have the UART, which lets you send and receive data. This is hex mode, so you can have hex data. And then this is the same image. And then, and that's the same one. And also, not shown here, but we'll have a demo for it soon. We also added capability for sending data from the iPhone or iOS device, such as magnetometer, accelerometer, gyro, GPS location. If you have GPS location capability turned on for your phone, you have to give permission, as well as quaternion data. And we also have a little controller with buttons, so you can use it as like a game controller type thing and send that as UART data over the Bluetooth device. We don't have a tutorial for it yet, but it does work. But hopefully we'll get that going, and we will have a tutorial for those things, and we'll also have some screenshots. Maybe next week. By then, I'll have something going on.
Okay.
We just got it. It just came live like 2 hours ago or something.
Okay. And next up, we've got mailbag. Pack the mailbag's gonna stop by. Hi, I'm Packet. And Packet says the following. Hello, I'd like to thank you for the gifts you make with shipping. The purchase department of my company orders quite regularly items on your site. As the R&D engineer who takes the delivery, I'm very glad the owner of several Raspberry Pi PCB rulers. Awesome. Thank you, Emmanuel. Yeah, in the past we do different freebies. Right now we have the free shipping. We had rulers in the past, trinkets, pro trinkets. Even back in the day we did Raspberry Pis at $350. So, woo, that was crazy. Remember when we did that. Okay.
Yeah. Right now we just do free shipping, but we'll be adding more freebies.
Yeah, we'll add more stuff later.
Soon.
Okay, next up. We've got some news in the world of open source hardware. Everyone's favorite open source hardware platform, Arduino, came out with a new update. They are up to 1.6.
It's not a beta.
0. It's not beta. And
it's a release.
Yeah, and so here's some of the things that have changed.
First up, there's definitely, it's not beta, so now this is like the official one, and we'll slowly be migrating off of 1.0, which was the last release before the 1.5 beta.
So I'll go through some of these things if you want, or do you want to? What?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you want to do it?
No, go through the list.
Okay.
You have it up there.
I have it up there. Well, and maybe I can read it off and you can explain what it is. So
why don't we do it together?
Yeah, this one is support for multiple platforms. So what does that mean?
I think that this just means that it has support for like the Due as well as it has the ARM and AVR support. Okay.
Boards detected and listed on ports menu together with the serial port. That's pretty cool.
Oh, they finally got Autodesk working.
Paul's, I think that's what Paul worked on a long time ago, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's really old. But if they did pull it in, I have to actually try 1.6. That's pretty major. Hopefully it'll actually be able to tell you what board is on.
Yeah, when you plug the board in, it's like, hey, this is a board and this is where it's at.
That's handy.
The IDE and drivers are now signed for Mac and Windows. This
Windows
is something that was a big deal.
Windows 8 wants signed stuff. Mac OS especially.
Yeah.
Yosemite, I think, really requires signed apps, so that's important.
Yeah. And then the next thing, improved speed of build process, whatever. Autosave and compiling uploading sketch, that's nice.
Okay.
Improvements to the serial monitor, that's pretty nice. Find and replace.
Oh wow, they got rid of ARX TX. Well, that should hopefully help a lot because the ARX TX was really slow and it was a little buggy, and especially had issues with Bluetooth. So we'll see if maybe this fixes the Bluetooth hangy issue.
Yeah. Find and replace over multiple tabs, that's handy. Improved Arduino API libraries, that's good.
Okay, they fix some bugs.
And tool chains upgrades.
Okay, latest tool chain, maybe move up a couple revisions. Another thing that was a little annoying was used to be that the Linux and Mac and Windows AVR GCCs were different versions, which would actually cause like weird stuff where it's like, it works when I use a Mac, but it doesn't work when I use Linux. So hopefully they have synced it.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I'll just read through more of these. Command line interface, that's going to be cool. I think that's going to be used in unexpected ways. The IDE reports both sketch size and static RAM size. Handy.
Very handy.
Editor shows line numbers, scrollable menus with many entries. Upload via network UN. That's interesting. I didn't try that at all. I installed it, but that's...
Yeah, you can use UN. You can now program over like Ethernet or Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. Hardware serial has been improved. USB has some stability and performance improvements. SPI library now supports transactions for better interoperability using multiple...
Yay, that's a Paul S library for SPI transactions, which is epic. The problem is people were using multiple SPI devices, which is usually not a problem, except that each one might have different modes and speeds.
Yeah.
And if you're using it with interrupts, especially the CC3000 library, which has a lot of stuff going on in interrupts, it could be very frustrating.
Yeah. And then... one of the things that I kind of like is better support for third-party hardware vendors with configuration files, platform.txt and board.txt.
Okay.
We have to run through and just see if our additions and changes
I believe now you can just drag it on, and it's just a little bit easier to. You don't have to edit the boards.txt, and you don't have to have a subfolder with edit. I mean, I think it's just a little bit.
And the
smoother.
submenus with the board configuration can be defined, which is kind of neat. So now when you go to one of the Arduinos, if it has different versions like 5 volt or 3 volt, so you select the board and the submenus. I think that'll be easier. Fix upload for Leonardo, Micro, and Yun. Libraries bundled. Bridge, TFT, Ethernet, robot control, soft serial. I think one of ours is in there. And then minor bugs.
I think the GFX library got.
So this is like basically a lot of.
It's a huge upgrade.
Paul Stofferson edition.
I know.
Good
Stoffergen.
work. Stoffergen. I just call him Paul S.
You just call him Paul S.
Yeah. Okay.
PGRC. So
Anyways.
big ups to him. So if you like this improvements, buy a Teensy, because he actually did a lot of work on the IDE. And thank you very much to the people at Arduino who also integrated all these changes, especially the auto detect. That's pretty massive. I'm very impressed that they finally got that in.
Yeah. So we'll see what's next in the world of Arduino. I have a feeling some big news soon. Next up, Adafruit Learning System. We have one guide that goes along with a video right now, and we will be showing the video, so we'll just briefly talk about this. This is the Textile Potentiometer Hoodie. It's an all-sewn slide sensor circuit by Becky Stern. We'll get to it in just a few moments. Next up,
Hold tight.
Time travel. A look back in the world of makers, hackers, artists, engineers, and more. Milestones, amazing people, first, you name it. We cover it this week.
Robots.
This week, this is a very special one to me. This is 1996. IBM supercomputer Deep Blue defeats Garry Kasparov in chess for the first time. February 10th, 1996, Deep Blue became the first machine to win a chess game against a reigning world champion. Now, that's why the code is Deep Blue tonight. And every year around this time, I do the same thing, and I say, Dear IBM, please open source Deep Blue. Because I believe if you make a machine or a thing that beats a human, you have to open source it. It just seems like the right thing to do. Like there's going to be so many firsts that happen with artificial intelligence, with you name it. You have to open source it. You have to. Now, I've done this every year for almost 10 years, writing at Make, and there's different versions of where Deep Blue actually is. Some people have told me it's in Lenovo's offices because they bought the IBM assets. And then some people said, no, it's actually really at IBM. And there's some people who say, no, like, you know, it's going to be where Watson is. But
it's like the rosebud of electronics. And find it like in 40 years and like some...
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like the lost Ark.
Yeah.
The lost Deep Blue.
And Kasparov claims that there's no way the machine could have done a certain type of move. There was a documentary about this. And it would be interesting to be allowed to inspect the source code and see what happened. At some point, we should be able to emulate Deep Blue on like our phones. Like it's been a really long time. It's 1996. So
there should be a Deep Blue GitHub account or something?
Well, it'd be nice to be able to get the source code, improve it, or get the source code and do things with it, or emulate it, or whatever. It just is a piece of human history. Chess was the way we considered, like, well, the man. Well, you'll never be able to meet a man in you know this man versus machine thing, right? Like, anyways.
Well, yeah, it's still. I mean, Kasparov. I don't know.
I'm just saying.
You may not believe it, but yeah.
I'm just saying it would be a good thing. I think that the humanoid robots that Sony did, Curio, they decided to kill that off that project. They should open source it so people who are working on prosthetics and all these things could then take that knowledge of humanoid walking and do something.
I don't think Sony's giving anything away anytime soon.
No, they're not. Okay, next up, wearables this week. We have an interesting project from Becky. That's the one that was from the Learning Guide. I'm just going to let her take it away. Take it away, Becky.
This is a textile potentiometer. It's a knit analog sensor that lets you add a slide actuator to your wearables projects. And today we're going to use it to control the color of some NeoPixels on this hoodie. You can pick up a sewable Gemma microcontroller and other supplies for this project at Adafruit.com. The yarn in the sensor has a high resistance that Gemma can measure with its analog input. The charm moves along its length, changing the amount of yarn connected to the input. To get started, use conductive thread to connect the potentiometer to Gemma's power, ground, and analog input, like this. You can find a complete circuit diagram for this project, as well as step-by-step instructions and sample code on the Adafruit Learning System. The link is in the description. The simple Arduino sketch is easy to modify for your own wearable projects. After testing your sensor, you can stitch up a chain of NeoPixels and swap out the code to control the colors. What would you make with this fun sensor? Let us know in the comments, and if you have questions, leave those there too, and I'll tackle them every week on our live wearables show right here on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe for more wearable electronics from Adafruit.
Alrighty, and that was
Demo
our...
here.
What was that?
We have this demo here even.
Oh, would you like to show it on the overhead?
Oh, yeah, sure. We can show it.
You want to show it on the overhead?
I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, this is interesting. Here, I'll do the lock. It's interesting. Yeah, you got a Gemma and a NeoPixel, and then this is a very high resistivity sort of. It's not a thread. It's like it's not a fabric either. It's like a cord, and it's kind of a woven cord, and it's filled with conductive threads. But it's highly resistive, and so if you give it like 3 volts over here and ground over here, then this acts as the wiper, and you can you can change the color to like a reddish color, orange color, to like a purple color, to a, you can sort of see on my reflection here, like a reddish purple,
Yeah.
to a blue color. Whoa, sorry, losing stuff here. To a green color. So it's kind of interesting because it's like you're actually physically making a potentiometer, and you have this like nice little pull tab as well. It might be useful for projects where you want to like change colors or brightness or settings, and you don't want to have a physical twisty potentiometer. Instead, you sew this cord on and just use this as a tab back and forth. And it works actually quite well. And you just stitch it with conductive thread. I don't think you can solder to it because I think this would melt, but you can definitely use conductive thread and then stitch it to your Gemma or Flora.
Okay. All right, next up, we got a lot of more videos ahead, Lady Ada.
Okay.
Okay, next up, don't forget, Becky's show is on Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wearable Wednesday. If you like wearable electronics, you will like the show. 3D printing, we have a 3D printing video. We are doing a series of skill building videos. And what we're doing is people here who work at Adafruit, they want to build stuff, and they have access to you, Lady
Yeah,
Ada.
like maybe they work in shipping or kitting or fabrication,
Yeah.
but it's like they get to make and ship and package
Yeah.
and do tech support on these things, but maybe they want to build some of them.
Yeah, and so what we've decided is for this year, we're going to introduce more and more people from the Adafruit family to you, and they're going to build a project.
And they're all lovely people.
So take it away, Michael and Lady Ada.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lady Ada, and we're here at the Adafruit factory, and today we're going to be building a fun project. With me is Michael. Michael is an awesome Adafruit team member, and when he's not being totally excellent here at Adafruit, he edits, shoots, and makes short films using his digital camera. And so he came to me and said, hey, I want to build a project. What would you like to build?
I wanted to build a preview display for my Canon camera, put on top so I can watch the videos and shoot a little bit better, have a wider screen.
That's right. Normally you would buy something like this online, and how much would it run you?
It would run me a little bit over $300.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money, but we can actually build it here and build it better using Adafruit stuff. We've got everything in the store, and we've got the tutorial from Noah and Pedro we're going to follow, and we can 3D print it in this beautiful blue color.
I like blue.
It's your favorite color.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start by downloading the 3D printing files, and this will tell the 3D printer what shape to print.
Wow.
Now we got to open it up in the Makerware software, which will actually control the 3D printer. Ooh, nice. And we're going to see like how it moves and what it's going to look like. So click on Export Print File. So grab the SD. Yep, and that's got the file on it. So now we're basically going to be able to tell the replicator what to make. Glue stick works wonders so it doesn't start to peel off. There you go, that's good. Nice and sticky. So now it knows, based on the file, how tall it's gonna be, where to start printing. It's kind of like a hot glue gun, but with plastic. It's ready to go.
That's cool.
All right, so now we're gonna let this print. We're going to have to cut and strip wire and solder it on for like the power switch and stuff.
Twist and pull.
And have you ever soldered before?
I've never soldered anything ever.
Okay, well, the first rule of Adafruit Club is you have to solder. We're going to tin the wire and melt a little bit of solder onto it. So I'd like you to do this one.
Okay.
There you go.
That's it? That's
Yep,
enough?
that's it. So now you're going to take these two pieces and put them together.
I don't. Oh, it's stuck.
There you go.
Is that it?
I gotta go like a more complicated project for you. Okay, so we're gonna use this some heat shrink. We've got a heat shrink pack. It's very fast, so like once you see it's shrunken, like you're pretty much done. Now that you're a soldering expert, we're going to go into the next step, which is taking this battery holder, which will power the display, and connecting it through a switch to this power regulator that will kind of like take the 7 volts from the battery and convert it down to 5.
All right.
So you've got the tutorial, you've got your soldering iron, you've got all these parts. I'm gonna let you go right to it.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna add a dimming switch. So it's pretty easy, but you're gonna be soldering to the main display now.
Okay.
There you go. Bam. Okay, that's it. This is really exciting. So just doing the last part.
So, I think it's done.
This little song.
It's a little song that played, like,
Okay,
finished.
build finished. So it took 57 minutes.
Okay. It's happening. Here we
Okay.
go.
Okay, so you did the soldering, the 3D
Yes.
printing, assembling, you screwed all the parts in. So grab your camera.
Okay.
Okay, and this is the camcorder battery. We're actually going to use the same camcorder battery that you use, so you can use the same charger. Flip the switch.
Oh,
Okay.
green light.
Green light. Green light means good.
Green is good.
Plug in the HDMI, put the preview up, bam. Okay, you did it.
I did do it, yeah.
And how'd you feel about it?
I feel pretty good. I feel I saved a lot of money doing it this way for something that's incredibly useful for me when I'm gonna be doing my short films and stuff. So it was great. It's a great
Okay.
experience.
We got a high five.
Yes. We'll do one more. High five. There we go. I like that sound.
That was a good one.
Okay, all right, so
We had
that's...
to high five like 4 times
Yeah.
to get the perfect high five.
There's a couple series of videos that we wanted to do. So one of them was when Micah stopped by and we showed how the fake candy was made. We want to do that more when we work with makers. We want more people who want to learn something, who are around this stuff. And then we also have from the Desk of Lady Ada, hopefully.
Which is coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, in between everything else, I'm going to somehow do a From a Desk Lady Ada, which will be a view into the process by which I engineer stuff. So like, if you're thinking, why did she pick that op amp? That's not the right op amp to pick. You should have picked a better op amp. Well, now we'll have a video explaining why I picked all the parts I picked for a project or a product. Yeah. And then maybe you won't email me so much, tell me I should have picked a better op amp.
And then
So cut it out.
And then we have one more 3D printing video. This is a really comprehensive video about the new printer bot. And so without further ado, Pedro, take it away.
Hey everybody, Pedro here for Adafruit, and today we're going to be checking out the new PrinterBot Metal Plus. It's a simple, minimalistic design that offers a bigger build area, upgraded linear rail system, and of course a sturdy powder-coated metal frame. The linear rails and carts offer a smooth, stable movement of the print head and bed. The machine aluminum bed is extremely flat with a large build area that can produce prints up to 10 inches by 10 inches by 10 inches. The PrinterBot Metal Plus is the bigger sibling to the Simple Metal and should feel very familiar if you've already used one before. Even with a bigger build area, the Plus still has a surprisingly small footprint. A heated platform is available as an upgrade, but PLA prints stick perfectly to blue painter's tape or a flexible build plate. Using a micro SD card, the printer can be disconnected from the computer for untethered printing during a long print job. We recommend using an inline power switch for a 2.1mm barrel jack to act as a power switch. The print head uses a Cartesian system with the x-axis moving left to right and up and down along the z-axis, while the print bed moves backwards and forwards along the y-axis. Most of the components are mounted behind the folded metal, tucked out of the way. This really gives the whole design a clean look. A ceramic UBIS hot end is compatible with 1.75mm filament and features a 0.4mm nozzle. A lot of material to choose from here, including copper fill, bronze fill, carbon, conductive, as well as NinjaFlex and the usual PLA and ABS, and many others, including HIPs. Bed leveling is aided by the help of the Auto Leveling Z Probe. Software is then used to adjust the offset height of the print head. The G28 and G29 commands available in our profiles perform a 3-point level check and then adjust the Z height for each print. Print speeds can go up to 80mm per second with a resolution down to 100 microns. The aluminum bed produces prints that are extremely level. The print head can stretch to the far edges of the bed for those really big prints. Retractions perform very well without a ton of loose strings between each island. Here we're printing this complex helix caddy with 50mm retraction speeds with a distance of 1.5mm with a beautiful detail in each cylinder. This was definitely a difficult print that popped off the bed without any cleanup required. For initial bed leveling, Repetier is used to send the G-code commands that will level the sensor. You can read the full guide on the Adafruit learning system. You'll want to check that the x-axis linear rail cart is calibrated to the bed by individually turning each Z-rod until leveled. Now we can physically adjust the height of the Z-probe by carefully tightening the bolts together as soon as the light is triggered by the aluminum plate. Use a piece of paper to gauge the nozzle distance. Offset the height by about 0.01mm until the nozzle grips the piece of paper. Check and save offsets to all four corners to ensure a clean, leveled print. Use the M500 command to save the settings to each corner and carefully confirm that the whole bed is leveled. Once you've run a successfully leveled print, you can go untethered by using AstroPrint to wirelessly control prints. You can see how to build one using a Raspberry Pi in our previous episode here. And that's the PrinterBot Metal Plus, a sleek, large, affordable, high-resolution 3D printer. You can of course pick one up in the Adafruit shop. Are there any questions or prints you'd like us to test? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to tune in every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for 3D Hangouts live every week. Until then, see you guys next time.
Okay. And tomorrow, of course, don't forget 3D Thursday with Noah and Pedro. If you like 3D printing, you want to learn skills, they actually do some really amazing layer by layer.
They explain how they design stuff.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I learned so much. I'm like, whoa, that's how you do I was wondering how do you do the screw standoff hole, and how do they make it so it's hollow but then it is solid, and then it's just amazing.
Okay.
Anyways.
And then we have some Raspberry Pi news. We shot a little fast video. I wanted to show it because this is kind of a neat thing. It's a device tree thing. So take it away, Past Lady.
Hey, I'm trying out something kind of cool that I discovered, was informed about. You can actually drive TTL displays directly from a Raspberry Pi if you load up this device tree. So we have our 40-pin TFT breakout with backlight control, and it's actually going straight into 18 or 20 of the Raspberry Pi B+. Actually, this is a model Pi 2B, and it can drive it directly, just like a TTL display. So this is kind of neat. So this is going to make it really easy ways to add a big display without needing HDMI.
Okay, good work.
All right, so that was kind of neat. That was a neat little trick that you learned.
Yeah, it was actually, the Pi Foundation actually emailed me and were like, hey, like, you should like do something about this. This is a really cool capability of the new B+, and like, now the Pi 2, where because they have 40 pins, you're wondering like, well, how did they pick the GPIO numbers that they put in there? Well, one of the cool things about having all those pins is they actually brought out every pin necessary to control a raw display. So we have displays that are like HDMI displays, and you plug them through the HDMI port, and they get to take advantage of the HDMI acceleration, the graphic acceleration of the Raspberry Pi. But you need to get a Raspberry Pi, the HDMI decoder. It uses a lot of power, and it's just it's a little bit of a pain. You have to have this cable, and then we have the Pi TFT which plugs on top, but it's lower resolution, like it's only 320 by 240 or so. And it goes over SPI. And so there's, another way of talking to displays where you actually drive the display, like the laptop or tablet display directly. And it's called I call it raw TTL, they call it DPI. And they released a device tree overlay that actually turns that on in Broadcom. They have a little blob and they turn it on in the Broadcom chip. And so you can connect a display directly. So I'm gonna work on a hat so you can basically take one of these like 7-inch or 5-inch displays or 4.3-inch displays and just pop it on. And then we'll maybe also have touchscreen capability, so you'll be able to basically make a little tablet that just plugs right on top, and you don't have to use the HDMI, so you'll save a little bit of power.
Okay. All right, before we get into new products, don't forget the code is Deep Blue. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. tonight. Late 8 is that time. It's new product. New products. Okay. First up, we have some new NinjaFlex Semiflex.
This is NinjaFlex.
Regular NinjaFlex, a new color. Sorry.
Yes. We have caramel.
Yeah.
And then we have blush, and we have I think almond. Although we thought it was more like an almond peach smoothie.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are kind of like tan colors. They're very beautiful, and they're super flexible, and they're kind of like a skin color. You can maybe use them to make like, I don't know,
sure.
like dolls or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. But we have.
It's gonna get weird.
It's gonna get weird. We have black and white already, and now we have these kind of like peachy colors in 3mm and 1.75mm. So the 3mm is more material, so it's more expensive because I think it's like the same length. So it's 0.75 kilograms instead of half a kilogram. So that's why it's a little more expensive. So check your printer to determine which you can use. Remember, you cannot use Bowden Drive. So just make sure that we have suggestions for which ones can use the flexible filaments. Works great with like replicators, PrinterBot Simples, TazBots, and with the Tweak and others like that. But just make sure you look it up because this is super flexible and some extruders don't like it.
Okay. Next up, we got a couple books. The first one is Raspberry Pi User Guide, 3rd edition, and this is updated for the Model B+ board.
Okay, which means it's going to be updated really soon for the Pi 2.
Right.
But since the Pi 2 and the B+ are very similar in terms of shape and software and capabilities, the Pi 2 is just faster. This is still a really good guide. I would suggest getting it if you're getting a Pi 2.
Yeah.
So Pi 2 or B+, both are very good. Updated. This is one of our most popular books. Emin did an excellent job, and of course, it's all his fault. Yeah. So he does a good job writing about it because he knows everything because it's all his fault.
Okay, next up, this book we picked up. So this is from the same publishing company that's doing the Art of Electronics 3rd edition, and they made this suggestion. It's a really good book. If you wanted to know about the history of computing in a very good way, highly recommended.
Photos and transistors. And pictures of guys in plaid shirts with really thick rimmed glasses.
Yeah.
And beards.
So this is a good gift for yourself or for someone, and we thought we would stock it, so it's in there. Next up, there is a new version of Coder, and Coder is a great way to learn how to program using a Raspberry Pi. This is a Google project, and we worked with Google to make a pack, and this is a new Coder pack. Mm-hmm. And the thing that matters the most, of course, is you get this card with Coder on there. So if you're trying to learn how to do programming,
especially JavaScript, which is kind of HTML, JavaScript, as CSS. So the Pi 2, it's even faster and even better. And so we just upgraded the pack because it's especially when you're doing over the web JavaScript programming, it's good to have a fast server.
Yeah. And I'll say this: the Coder, the Coder thing was always fine on the B+. It is awesome on the Pi 2. B. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is because the B. We were talking about this today. The Raspberry Pi 2 Model B is definitely more like a little computer
Yeah.
The performance is really
No,
good.
it's just faster than a netbook.
Yeah.
It's a quad-core processor. I mean, like it's
Yeah.
zooming.
So
It's definitely it's as fast as a tablet.
Yeah, so
or
Coder's
more.
updated, and go get it if you want to learn. Next up.
We have the 4mm 32 by 64 matrix. All the other matrices that came in were correct, and this one we had a little bit of a back and forth with the factory because it wasn't quite what we wanted, but then they fixed it up, and now we have this beautiful display. I'm driving it here with a Mega. I'll just hold it up because on the overhead it's a little bit too...
No, well, you can try the overhead. Let's see what happens.
Okay, well, it's really bright. But you
That's
get
beautiful.
32 by 64 LEDs, and you can use our RGB matrix library. It works with Raspberry Pi. We have a library, and even we have a hat even that works quite well. And you can also use it with a Mega. I've got a Mega down here, and I've soldered it to the Mega. And then you plug into the input port here, and then you just have to pulse the data very, very fast. And I mean, it's just a beautiful display. These are used for like walls and stuff, and this fine pitch means you can get a lot of pixels in.
Okay.
We also have a 3mm, a 5mm, and a 6mm, and the prices vary because of the PCB size and density. So figure out how big you want this thing, and then you can buy the matrix that matches.
Okay. Next up, I'm really excited about this. We've got the Create 2. It is iRobot's robotic platform. This is a big deal, and I'm just going to show a couple photos, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, hold on. Let me just move stuff out of the
Yeah.
way. You talk about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
here's the photos. So they did a Create a long time ago, and they stopped. And it was one of the things that I was a little sad about because one of the problems with robotics is you spend all of your time trying to move things around, and you try to have motors work, you try to have battery, and wouldn't it be great if there was something somewhere that someone just got working and it always worked? Well, the iRobot Roomba is that thing. They've been selling, I believe, millions of the iRobot, and so what you get is
Is this, but then you can pull this up.
Yeah.
And I'll do that right now.
Yeah, and so you can drill holes through this and everything, but there's a hack port basically.
Look at this hack port. See that port?
Yeah.
That's the hacker port.
And here's the other cool thing. These are made from refurbished Roombas, so this stuff is ending up in the landfill. It goes and gets tested, fixed, improved, parts get exchanged, and you have a fully functional robot that you can completely control. It comes with a cable, and comes with basically all the
Yeah, and
things
it has
you need.
this open area, so you can put your electronics in here, and there's like you can basically shove it underneath, and it
Yeah.
has really good grippy motors with tons of torque. It's got this little spinner.
This would be a fantastic robot that would take you forever to build.
It has like this like a LiDAR type thing going on here, and then it comes with a cable.
Should I do this again?
Wait, no, don't. I don't think you should. I don't think you should.
the
It's going to run off
No,
the
I
table.
know, I
Bad
know.
idea. It comes with this cable, which is an FTDI to, because it's a serial connection to serial over here, and you can plug it in, and you can send and receive commands. And there's basically a protocol where you can like query the motors, tell it to drive, tell it to send you interrupts and stuff. And you can also get a cable. We don't have these in the store yet. We're working on it. But you can just get a cable. There's some links online from where to get it, and you plug this in, and then you can control it from an Arduino because it's a 5-volt TTL, and also gives you the 9 volts out from the onboard battery, so you can even use it to power your thing. And they have examples for using it with a Raspberry Pi. You plug this into the USB port, and just like go to town. You can control your robot, and it's really strong and excellent if you're like, I have to build a robotic project, and you don't want to like spend hours or days or weeks on batteries, power supplies, motor control, like encoders. You can really lose months before you even get something that can stably move. And because it's nice and round and it's got these bump sensors, it's less likely to break. Like this is a time-tested design.
Okay. And we just have 2 more things, then we're going to open up for questions. Lady Ada, what is this thing?
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me put this away.
I'm just going to show some photos of the thing.
Okay, wait. Oh, this is plugged in.
Whoa.
Yep. Off it goes. Okay.
Well, that's why I wouldn't turn on because I was getting charged. Anyways, what is this thing?
Okay, this is a photo sensor, and you see here with a white piece of paper, and it's a reflectance sensor. It has an IR LED, and it emits IR light off one side, and then it bounces off and gets detected by the photo transistor on the other side. So you can even see the photo, the IR LED here.
Oh,
You see
yeah,
that
look at
purple
that.
light? Maybe I'll a little bit closer. Yeah, look at that. So normally it's not visible to human eyes, but when you have something about like 5 millimeters away, it detects it. So it can detect like my hand, or it can detect like a piece of paper. Shinier, light-colored things are better because it has to bounce the light off. So if you have something like wool, it won't bounce the light, so it won't work as well. So flat, shiny stuff's really good. It's just a really low-cost way to do motion proximity. Something is going in front. Usually you'll have like maybe a servo or a motor, or somebody will move something. It'll detect when a latch is opened or when something is about to hit a wall. It's also used in line detection because white light will bounce off. It'll bounce off of a white line much better than the black line because the black line absorbs the color. The IR, because it's like a black absorbs the light. So you're using coder wheels. So it's just a very simple little sensor, but very popular, especially in robotics and mechatronics. And remember, you can't put your hand right up against it because then like the light isn't bouncing. You have to be about 5 millimeters away. So there you go.
Okay. And then last up, this is a neat little board that just came in that we really like. This is
MicroPython.
the MicroPython.
And it comes in a really beautiful case. This is really interesting. This is a standalone Python REPL. You can connect it via USB, and it shows up like a COM port, and you can start like typing in Python commands and functions and do stuff. And they basically took the Python runtime and compiled it onto this STM32 processor. You can also save files and scripts onto the micro SD card. There's like ADC DAC. It's a powerful, like I think it's 100 megahertz STM32 with probably like half a mega flash or something ridiculous because these STMs always have tons of flash. But very handy if you know Python, you want to interface with hardware. I think that was kind of interesting. We also have basically the Arduino, which is a JavaScript powered processor, and there's also of course the Tesla, which is also kind of like JavaScripty.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see these. When you get a processor that's running at 100 megahertz and has half a megabyte of flash and maybe like a 100K of SRAM, you can sort of do stuff like garbage collection and like not worry about whether malloc will fail and like objects, and you don't have to worry so much about it, whether it's a byte or int32. You can just kind of go to town, and so that makes it a lot easier to implement scripting languages like Python and JavaScript. I mean, I know that there's a lot of processors with Lua, which is a very lightweight scripting language, but chances are you know about Python. I remember not all libraries for Python are reported. You're not going to be able to run NumPy, most likely, but a lot of other processes, libraries for Python may work. And they also have a lot of support. So check out the PyBoard website for more info.
Yeah.
And we'll see some cool
And
projects.
also, a lot of some of our favorite customers suggested it, so we knew it was a right thing.
Yeah, this was in high demand.
Yeah,
and I'm
so
like,
nice.
I'm always into like, you know what? Like, I write code in C, but it's interesting. Like, I'm meeting like more people who like they don't know C. Like, there's web developers who like they never have to learn it, and
Yeah.
it's like it's kind of awesome. Like, they don't write code with pointers, and like I'm kind of like, yeah, I can kind of see how maybe it's time to get over it.
You can get really far really fast right now without knowing C.
And probably faster, actually. I think C like keeps you down a little bit.
don't have the same
Maybe we'll
baggage.
get somebody will make a Lisp processor too. I can't wait to get back to doing Scheme with hardware. Although
Okay.
Python's kind of close. Got lambdas in there.
Okay. And with that is new products. Lady did a good job. Okay. So we're going to do a speed round of questions. Thank you everyone for sticking around. Don't forget the code is Deep Blue. Start typing in your questions into the chat. For Lady Ada, we're going to do engineering questions. And then we're going to give away something. So,
Hydrate.
yeah. So, one of the questions that I saw earlier in the chat, but I didn't get a chance to. What's your favorite programming language, Lady Ada?
I actually really like I like Python a lot now.
Oh, now you like Python.
Although I do unfortunately write all my code in C and C++ all day.
Okay.
It's okay. I can handle pointers.
Let's
Pointers got
see
nothing on
here.
me. I would like to see a Lisp.
Yeah. Next up, so someone
processor
wants to
that would
know,
be-
when we were running a business out of our apartment, how do we remove any fumes generated from the equipment that we're doing? So we've always had HEPA filters, and we've always made sure we go above and beyond.
There are companies that will sell you filters that
Yeah.
will do. You can buy any kind of filter, and we have multiple filters. You can get HEPA filters.
Yeah.
And for
So-
VOCs or for particulate.
Depending on what equipment you're using, usually they have suggestions for all this stuff. Most companies and most people just pipe it outside, which is the wrong thing to do. We've always decided to get filters. In fact, when we started out with a laser cutter, we decided to spend a lot of money on the best filter system that you can get.
Yeah, the laser was like $15,000, and then the filter was $3,000 just for the filter.
Yeah.
But it's got like charcoal and like the HEPA filter, and then like the pre-filter, and then like a pre filter.
Yeah, so
And you
anyways.
just still have to change it. But all that stuff's available. Like Google for like filter systems. Trust me. Like, there's plenty
Okay,
of filter systems.
I can answer one and then I'll go skip around. Can you buy stuff using Amazon gift cards by selecting Pay with Amazon? No, that's just your stored payment method through Amazon. You actually can't spend Amazon gift cards, which are only meant to be spent on Amazon.com. No, they make you spend the Amazon gift cards only on Amazon.com. You can't use it as a Pay with Amazon method. Next up, did you ever use the MCS-48?
No, I don't know what that sound is either.
It's New York, like
Whatever.
the streets exploding or something
Okay,
like
something's
that.
going on.
Okay.
I've never used the MCS-48.
How's the NeoPixel support on the Pi 2 looking, or no or no go Superglow?
It's not done yet because the Pi 2 has changed the GPIO offsets, which we've discovered through experimentation. It's probably going to be able to work. It just hasn't been done yet. It's like, again, like, a lot of people didn't get their Pis till like 4 days ago.
Okay.
And a lot of it's done by volunteer, so hopefully the person will get to it. I don't think you have to remind them. They probably know.
Any tips for when attempting to duplicate your raw pixel.fun?
If you want to do that, check out the forum thread. First off, get an oscilloscope, because I saw a lot of people trying to do it with an oscilloscope, and it's extremely hard because you want to be able to see the H and V sync. Look at the forums for the VGA 666 thread, and there's some people doing experimentation. You'll need to get the device tree blob, update your config.txt, and then there's a GPO list app that will show you that all the GPIOs are on Alt 2. I think it's the alternative 2 option. And then grab one of our 40-pin TFT breakouts with the backlight control, because you need 17, 20 volts for the backlight, and we have a breakout with a little boost converter that will do the constant current boost for the backlight, and then you just wire it up according to the diagram from the VGA 666.
Okay.
They're so easy. Like, go on.
All
I can do it with my eyes closed. No, it actually took me like a couple hours to do, and oscilloscope definitely helps, so you know whether their clock line's coming out.
Okay, this person is their last year in school, and they want to know, how do you organize your time for different projects? They keep getting distracted with lots of projects, as well as the final year project. I'll give one piece of advice for the modern era right now.
Yeah.
If you commit publicly to publishing something, if you have to decide what to do. If you tell everybody, hey, everybody, I'm going to do a learning guide, or hey, everybody, I'm going to do Instructable on the following, and people are relying on you, that makes you, because now they're going to bug you. So if you have 15 projects and you don't know which one to work on, pick one that maybe gives the most value to the most people, because it'll kind of make you do it. It's kind of like when you tell everybody, like, I'm going to lose.
Or enter contests. Like there's the Hackaday contest, there's Instructables contests. If you say that you're going to enter a contest, then you have a lot of incentive to finish, because you might win something. And for some people, that really helps. Eventually, you'll get into the habit of finishing projects, but finishing projects takes, it's not easy.
Yeah, so sometimes you need some friends to help you along, and especially if you promise them something, they'll remind you. Next up, is there NeoPixel support for that Python board?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
Yeah.
You should go to the PyBoard webpage and check it out. They probably do, because the STM32 can absolutely do it. They probably have a library for it.
Okay. Next up, what is the best 3D printer you recommend? So for big volume builds, the TAS4, the 100% open source 3D printer, and for anything smaller than that, the printer bots are good.
That new printer bot metal looks like really sweet.
And we're adding more, and all the printers that we add, they will be the best one in the price points for the feature that you can do. We've actually had our choice of all the 3D printers. Anything you see in the Adafruit store, it's only there because it's good. Yeah. That is for tonight. That's it for questions.
Okay.
Good work,
it's 9
Lady
o'clock.
Ada. Yeah,
we
it's
got through it all.
Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of reminders here. Don't forget, the code is Deep Blue, 10% off in the Adafruit store.
What's going to be the giveaway?
The giveaway is going to be that little Python board.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is what we're giving away. Little Python board.
You get a Pi board, and tell me how cool it is. It sounds cool. So if you know Python, this is definitely
Okay. Trivia question time. Lady
to
Ada,
win.
what is What are the rules, I should
The
say?
rules are, there's multiple rules. One is the first person to type in the correct answer into the YouTube or Ustream chat, and Phil thinks it's the correct answer. Sometimes he's picky about spelling, sometimes he's not. Wins the prize. Today's prize is the MicroPython. If you don't win, even though you think you should win, please don't call us up on the phone and complain, because we
Yeah.
really don't like that.
No, it hasn't happened in a long
It hasn't
time.
happened in a long time, but still, like, it
Yeah.
only has to happen once.
It happened more than once. Okay,
Okay.
so here's the thing. Here's the question for the evening. Are you ready? What year did Deep Blue beat Kasparov for the first time? What year? We went over this. There's a quiz at the end sometimes, kids. What year did Deep Blue beat Kasparov for the first time? Which one? Which one? Which one?
What year?
What year? It's, yeah.
Get your Google foo. Or,
Yeah.
read the blog.
Yeah. Let's see who's going to get this week. It looks like the first one is Rob Fenwich. Congratulations, Rob Fenwich. You got the date exactly, February 10th, 1996. That's pretty good. Rob
I mean,
Fenwich.
most people, by the way, like, if you listen to Time Travel Tuesdays, because usually that's the one that Phil takes the quiz question
Yeah.
from.
Oh, and as Tony DeCola pointed out, trick question. Kasparov claimed he cheated. There is no right answer. No. You win. Let me get his name again, just to make sure I look in the camera
Fenwich.
and say it. Yeah, Mr. Fenwich, you won. Email support@adafruit.com. You get a
MicroPython.
little
board.
MicroPython. That's it.
I
for,
put it away, but
that's-
just say I won a MicroPython on the Ask Engineer, and
Yeah, we'll be able to-
you'll get it.
We'll be able to send you out one. All right, well, that's it for the show. Thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you, all the Adafruit people that are here working. We had some record number of orders the last couple of days. Thank you, everyone in shipping. Thank you, everybody who was working behind the scenes in the shows, all the Adafruit staff members, all the people who go in the show and tell. And, of course, most important, thank you, everybody out there who watches and picks up something once in a while and keeps us going.
Yay! Thank you.
Thank you so much for helping us get to 700,000 orders. We can't wait to get to 1 million.
Oh my God.
And we'll keep doing this if everyone keeps liking it.
Okay.
All right, so we'll see
Subscribe
everybody.
to YouTube.
Yeah, we'll see everybody next week. Here's a picture of the cat, and here is your moment of Zener. Bye bye.